Okay, now we will solve this question, which is in the homework number 2 or 3, I think. Uh, we will deal now with graphs. This graph is between v, velocity in meters per second, and t, the time. You can see the time periods and the velocities. We have 3 stages: acceleration part from 0 to 20 seconds, and a constant velocity part. This is the first stage and this is the second stage. Constant velocity, the acceleration will be 0, and a third stage from t equal 40 to t equal 50. We need to compute, this is the time, we need to compute delta x, the displacement. The displacement will be 3 displacements together. The first one from the first stage, it will be x1. The second one will be from the second stage, and the third one will be from the third stage. We need to compute the acceleration, which is the slope of the line, and the acceleration here is also the slope of the line. Here the acceleration is a plus or positive, here the acceleration is negative, and here is 0. And then we need to use this equation: x is equal to x naught plus v naught multiplied by t plus half a t squared. For each stage, or for each part of our graph, we will use equation, apply this, and use the initial velocity, the final velocity, put them in this equation. It will be easy. Now we need to start by knowing how much the initial velocity in the first stage, it is half, the final velocity is 2, the time period is 20, this is t1, this is t2, and this is t3. T1 is 20, t2 in the second stage is 20 seconds also, and t3 at the third stage is 10 seconds. Now I can find the acceleration. This acceleration is equal to delta v over delta t. Delta v is 2 minus half, which is 1.5, and the time is 20. So the acceleration will be 0.075 meters per square second. And then I need to compute the acceleration in the second part. It will be 0 in the same way, by the same way. This is v initial in this case, and this is v final. Also, for the third part, this is v initial, which is 2, and this is v final, which is 0, from 40 to 50. And in this case, and the time period is 10. I can compute the acceleration. It will be negative 0.2 meter per square second. Okay. Now, for the first stage, I need to summarize now all the information in my question. I compute the accelerations, I have the time periods, I have v initial and v final for each stage. So I can use the equation. The total displacement is the displacement in each period of time. Okay, I will use this equation as we told you before. For the first stage, I will use x1 is equal to x0. x0, it is the displacement at the origin, which is, we can choose it 0. Okay, v naught at this for the first part is half, the time is 20. The acceleration we computed, it is 0.75 meter per square second. We just put the numerical values in the equation, and we can find that the first displacement is x1 is 25 meters. Now we can move to the next stage. I will use the same equation. the acceleration here is 0, so this term will be removed from my equation, and the first x here, x2, x final is equal to x initial. X initial is 25. We compute it now here. Okay? Plus 40. 40 is the velocity, which is 2, multiplied by the time, which is 20. So the body moves after 2 stages 65 meters. After the first stage, it passed 25 meters. From here to here is 40. Okay, for the third stage, I will use the same equation, and this is x final, which is x3, which is the total displacement, which is equal to x2, which is 65, multiplied by v at 40. This is v40, which is v initial for the third stage. Okay, multiplied by the time, which is 10 seconds, plus half acceleration, which is negative 0.2. Okay, multiplied by squared, not cubed, squared time. Okay, it is squared here. Okay, the term 65 plus v initial in the third stage multiplied by 10 seconds, which is 20 meters. This is in meters, and this in meters, and this is in meters. And we have negative sign for the acceleration here. This term will be in negative. So we have 65 plus 20 minus 10. The total displacement will be 75 meters. So we have 3 parts in our graph. Each part give us a displacement. This one 25, and this one is 40. Yes, and this one is 10, because it's 20 minus 10. Okay, which is equal to 75 meters. Thank you. I will put these sheets with the documents in Canvas.